Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's bright and sunny out today, which is a big difference from the last 3 days or so. If you're not aware, I live in eastern North Carolina, and I'm probably about the middle of the coastline there. And Hurricane Idalia, yeah, it rolled through it rolled nearby. Probably the worst thing that happened to my area was the storm surge. I think it was about 4 feet, 4.5 feet, 5 feet, something like that. So there were some areas and parts of my town that I live near that all got flooded. Not severely, it's just some local street flooding, that kind of thing. My neighbor across the street, she backs up onto a canal, and there was the water sort of backed up onto her property in some low spots, but the house was fine. We're all fine. I think the strongest wind gust was like 40 miles per hour. Not the end of the world. I mean, I've had stronger wind gusts come through on a bright sunny day like today. Literally 60 mile per hour wind gusts on a bright sunny day. And I think, and we got 5 inches plus of rain. So I was complaining about the lack of rain, and well, now I got a lot of rain. Which is good because everything's going to grow just a little bit better now that the ground is fully saturated. It's also bad because now my grass is I think in the past 24 hours, I feel like the grass has grown 2 to 3 inches. And I won't be able to mow it for the next couple of days because the ground, again, is just saturated. Everything's really soggy. I have to kind of wait for things to dry out a bit before I run over it with the mower. All that being said, what's going on today? Today I'm just going to be talking about some of the things that happened to the garden during the storm, and then something that's happened after the storm, which is kind of a little, not shocking, but just annoying at this point. Also, you may have noticed the new hat. Yeah, I got a new hat, and I was actually influenced by a YouTube influencer. If you guys don't watch Cog Hill Farm, you guys check it out. Cog Hill Farm, I'll leave a thing right here. And Jason and his wife, I can't think of his wife's name suddenly, but either way, it's another Jason. But either way, him and his wife have this farm down in Alabama. Interesting things go on there. And for a while, he was running around with those like big brim lifeguard hats, which I'm not really a big fan of. I really don't like them. I have been tempted to get one because I wanted something with a wider brim than the hat I normally wear. And that's just simply to help keep the sun really off my face and my neck. These, bright, sunny, hot August days. Brutal. Actually, well, now we're into September. Still hot though. So I wanted a wider brim hat, and he had recently stumbled across this hat, if you can see in the thing. This is not sponsored. It's just what the manufacturer is. I think it's AFTCO or something like that. Stupid badge. Either way, he had gotten one on sale someplace, and he was talking, he wears it and he likes it, and I was just like, it's not a bad looking hat. Maybe I should, see if I can find one on sale. And sure enough, I found one on sale. So now I have a wider brim hat, and if it keeps the sun off my face and my neck, all the better. Anyways, let's start taking a look around some of the things that were affected by the storm. Well, here in the veg garden, as you can see, I had some sunflowers growing, and I literally think due to the storm, they grew another 6 inches overnight, which is pretty wild. But you can see how they're a little twisted. I'm going to see if these actually straighten out a bit over the next 24 or 48 hours. And if they do, great. If they don't, I think I'll just maybe try staking them. I don't know, I'll have to see what happens. They may just naturally straighten themselves out. The Crouching Tiger zinnia here really got beat up by the wind. They were leaning way over this way, and now, as you can see, they've flopped over that way. So, again, I'll see what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours over the weekend. See if they straighten themselves out. They're also they're also long in the tooth. These guys have been going since March, April, probably May. So, and here we are in September now. So I may wind up pulling them or just try to see if I can just leave them in the ground until the last frost. My Mexican sunflowers that I have here in front of the veg garden, they took the worst. They got beat up the worst, I think, because they'd all sort of fallen over. None of them were staked and none of them were tied to the fence, and I probably should have done that, but I didn't. So they all sort of fell over. And I'll insert some pictures to show what they look like. I tried doing a video yesterday, but it was kind of drizzly and it wasn't working out. So as you can see in the video or in the photos, they had fallen over, some of the branches had broken off. So what I did yesterday was pull them back up as upright as I could, press the root balls back in as much as I could, and I tied them up to the fence. And so far they look kind of okay. They look a little ratty, a little beat up, and it's because they were beat up. But they're still kind of alive, and I hope they stay alive. I'll find out over the next 24 hours. But tied them up, did the best I could. And hopefully they all survive. I'll probably have to go through here. I know I can already see I have to do quite a bit of deadheading, because you have, there's like a broken flower there, and I think there's a couple more broken flowers back here. So I'll have to do some deadheading on those. But as I said, I got them stood back up. I pressed the root balls back into the ground, and I've I don't know, given them the best chance I think I can. Again, I'll go through and I'll do some deadheading probably this evening, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, cross my fingers and toes, they survive and they're still here on Monday. Otherwise, Monday's project may be ripping out the Mexican sunflower. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Now, during the storm, of course, I was outside a few times because I had to put the dog out to go to the bathroom. And I saw the deer down around the rose garden here. But doesn't look like they touched any of the roses. In fact, I've got some flowers. Let me show you that. So there's a little Litchfield angel down there. These are Desdemona. They haven't quite opened up yet. Whoop. Stepping over here, trying to step on plants. This is Olivia Rose Austin. So as you can see, I've got a few flowers on that, just starting to open up. And then over here, I have a Mr. Lincoln. And my Mr. Lincoln, who has been through a lot. Dug him up from New York, brought him with me. He's been eaten back several times by deer. He's thriving right now. He's doing all right. Got some flower buds here, which are looking good. So hopefully I can get a good couple of flowers, roses off of him soon. And I'll probably take some pictures and post it up on Instagram. So surprisingly, the rose garden was left untouched by the deer during the storm. And I figured with the heavy rains and all, they'd probably come in here, ignore the motion sprinkler, eat some of the roses, gnaw them down to the stems, but no. Let's go look at the dahlia garden, which also did not fare well. Now behind me over here, I have my dahlias. And I've shown them off a few times. I think I did a tour earlier in the year. And they've been doing really well this year. Even with the surprising heat, they've been pushing through. I recently, probably about a month or so ago, I turned around and put some Daddy Pete's Kickin' Chicken. It's a mixture of cow manure and chicken manure. And I put some around the base of each of the plants to act as a fertilizer. And when it rained, it would wash into the ground and the plants would get their nutrients and life would be good. And that has actually been working quite well. Unfortunately though, with the winds and the weather, the dahlias got really beat up. Let me show that to you now. So here's a dahlia. I don't know which one it is, but it's got a broken branch. I have to trim that off. I can see some deadheading needs to be done to this one. This guy right here is leaning over. So I have to tie him back up today. That one also is leaning over a bit. This one looks like it's got a broken branch. So I'll have to deadhead that, maybe tie it up a little bit more. Some of these I came through last night and I already did some pruning, like this guy right here. I did a little pruning on him, tied him up better. Same thing with this one here. There were quite a few more branches on this one, but unfortunately they ripped off with the wind. So I had to come in and do some pruning. Here's another one with a broken branch laying on the ground. Needs deadheading. Then there's the small varieties here, like Inflammation and Baby Yellow. And they just got really sort of beat up. So I'm gonna have to do some pruning and taking care of that. This is fun. Look how these ants trying to escape the water have built their little hill up around the branch of this. I presume this is baby yellow. Might be the red skin here. Due to the excessive moisture too, a lot of the flower heads are drooped over, which theoretically that should correct itself, I hope, over the next few days as everything starts drying out. That's still a nice flower right there. Survived the storm. Again, we didn't get hit that bad at all. This plant right here, which I believe is a red skin, yeah, that got pretty messed up. And we'll have to see if it recovers over the next few weeks. I may wind up pulling it. Ooh, here's a Bishop's Children that got knocked over. I just noticed that now. I didn't notice it last night. I'll have to see if I can tweak that or do something with that. So those were some of the worst things that happened to the garden. Like I said, it wasn't that bad of a storm, thankfully, and could have been so much worse. And I imagine one day when we actually get hit with a hurricane as opposed to being grazed by one, it will be much worse. And I'll have to deal with the outcome of that, however, whatever that may be. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But this morning I came into the veg garden and I found something annoying to me. And it's almost common at this point. Again, I don't have 6-foot or 12-foot high fences around, and I do have deer in the neighborhood. And like I said, I saw the deer in the neighborhood last night, but they weren't near the veg garden. They did come in the veg garden last night. And then here's the weirdness. They nibbled the tops off of this bush bean, but didn't touch the others, which aren't covered by cloches, which is weird. They did rip one of them out of the ground. I had to throw that in the compost pile this morning. And they did come back to the sweet potato vine and just had a very, very light snack and left the rest of the plant alone. Weird. The other thing that was weird is that the deer did nibble on some of the shrubbery out in the orchard. A holly and a couple of other plants, which the names elude me right now, but either way, they're all supposed to be deer resistant. And yeah, they nibbled on them, taking some leaves off. I mean, deer are deer, and if they're hungry enough, they'll eat anything. I mean, that's life with deer, right? So for the rest of the weekend, I'm just going to be tidying up, you know, cleaning up some of those dahlias, trimming them back, tying them back to the stakes. I'll be cleaning up a few other things around the garden. It's just a matter of cleaning and tidying and sort of getting back to that. Okay, this is where we were before the storm, and then move forward from that. So I'm not sure what Monday's video will be. It may be ripping out those I should know by Monday whether those Mexican sunflowers are going to survive, or if then, you know, having the root balls partially ripped out of the ground killed them. So we'll have to wait and see. That could be, like I said, Monday's video of me doing that cleanup, or it could be I could be building fences, or who knows what I'm doing next. We'll have to wait and see. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified of when I do post up a new video. This way you can follow along with whatever it is I'm doing out here in the garden. Sophie would appreciate it. She's been helping. Yeah, haven't you? No, she hasn't been helping. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Do me a favor, check out all the links below. I've got all sorts of links to social media, my website, and a bunch of other things. So check those links out if you already haven't. And like I said, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.